Hello everyone, this is Jack Frost with your weekly update for the Ethereum Technicals and XRP. Before I get into it, I want to say that we are doing a couple of switches around at this point. So I will be doing the weekly update for the Ethereum and XRP markets, while Lara will be doing the Solana and Bitcoin markets. And today on the weekly chart for Ethereum, price has consolidated within resistance around 2800 and support around 2400, the last completed week ending with a bearish engulfing pattern. Volume supports downwards movement at this point, particularly with a push on the most recent candlesticks. A push on the last candlestick, particularly the bearish engulfing pattern, supports that candlestick pattern along with downwards movement overall. At the weekly time frame, ADX continues to increase with a bearish trend that is not extreme and not yet in danger of ending. On-balance volume has no new range, though it does have this new resistance line. And additionally, it may find support at prior resistance as it continues. RSI is neutral and declining with a bit of room before it may enter oversold. Money flow increasing for the very short term, though overall declining with a bit of room before it may enter oversold and quite a bit before it may enter overbought. Additionally, neither RSI or money flow exhibit divergence at this point. ATR has previously increased along with price, now moving sideways with a slight bearish slope, giving an overall bullish outlook for volatility. And as this trend indicated by ADX is not yet extreme, it does expect price to continue lower to where ADX may reach extreme or very extreme conditions, while RSI and money flow may enter oversold and or exhibit some divergence. On the technical daily chart, price has consolidated within resistance around 2720 and support between 2400 and 2100. For the very short term, price has declined, finding support at 2400 with what is labeled a Morningstar candlestick pattern now increasing a little bit. Volume supports downwards movement on the daily time frame as well, particularly with a push on the most recent bearish candlesticks. At the daily time frame, ADX now declines, showing no clear trend. ATR is overall flat, moving sideways with a slight bearish slope as price consolidates, giving an overall bullish outlook for volatility. And as ADX declines at the daily time frame for Ethereum, the model of stochastics and support and resistance is used. This model suggests an upward swing may occur at this point towards resistance at 2720 or potentially up to 3200, where price finds one of those resistance points while stochastics enters overbought. Previous downward swing may be complete where price found support at 2400 while stochastics failed to enter oversold. Please note that at this point we do rely very heavily on the Elliott Wave count, and so if you do want the full picture for this market, you can sign up for that at pureelliottwave.com using the link in the description below. On the weekly chart for XRP, price has declined for intermediate wave 2 within primary wave 3, now expected to continue upwards for the overlapping third waves at primary and intermediate degree. Primary wave 3 continues higher with a target calculated at 28.84 using the 14.72 ratio between that and primary wave 1. It is possible that primary wave 3 may end in November 2025, lasting a duration of Fibonacci 3 years. Additionally, a best fit channel is drawn around intermediate wave 2 from its beginning just there to the end of minute wave B within minor wave Y, with a copy on the low with the end of minor wave W. Price now increases, finding resistance at the upper edge of the best fit channel. At this time frame, a full break above this channel with a full green candlestick above and not touching would support this wave count, seeing intermediate wave 3 to continue higher. But at this point, with this last completed week, a strong bearish candlestick, price finds support at the upper edge of the base channel drawn around the primary degree movements as shown on the monthly chart. If you want a full breakdown of that chart, you can see the previous XRP video that I did last week. Within intermediate wave 3, any second wave corrective movement cannot move below its start at 0.3838. And as we expect with cryptocurrencies, third waves can often start out slow, accelerate through the middle, and explode at the end, so the lack of range and momentum at this point for the beginning stages of intermediate wave 3 is not cause for concern at this point. And this movement for the beginning of intermediate wave 3 on the weekly chart is this movement on the daily chart. We can see more detail for the very beginning stages of minute wave 3 within minor wave 1. Currently expected to be within minuet and subminuet third waves as well, expecting these overlapping third waves at 3 degrees to now continue higher. This best fit channel copied over from the weekly chart, drawn around the intermediate degree movements. A full break above the channel with a full green candlestick above and not touching would add confidence to this wave count, particularly at the daily time frame. And within minuet wave 3, any second wave corrective movement cannot move below its start at 0.5030, meaning if subminuet wave 2 just here wants to move any lower, it cannot move below this point. Within minute wave 3, any second wave corrective movement cannot move below its start at 0.4322, meaning if minuet wave 2 continues any lower, it cannot move below this point. And at this point, as I mentioned on the weekly chart, the lack of range and momentum for the beginning of these third waves is not cause for concern at this time frame. Though as price continues, we do expect it to find resistance at the upper edge of this base channel before the larger third waves, particularly with sub-minuet degree movements, have the bullish momentum to break above the base channel. On the technical weekly chart for XRP, we can see where price has consolidated overall between resistance at 0.675 and support between 0.46 and 0.40. This symmetrical triangle just here has failed as price failed to break above. It has breached the upper edge with the upper wick of this candlestick here, this candlestick labeled a bearish engulfing pattern, where price has just now broken below the triangle, currently moving just below resistance prior support at 0.54 and 0.55. Volume supports downwards movement at this point with a strongest volume on the bearish candlesticks, particularly a push on this most recent candlestick labeled the bearish engulfing pattern, though some strength on the bullish candlesticks does see some strength for upwards movement at this point. ADX increases, though it is below 15, showing no clear trend. If ADX continues to increase to and above 15, it will give the strongest bearish signal it can, increasing from a low point and below both DX lines. ATR increases as price consolidates with a bearish slope at this point, giving a bearish outlook for volatility. And as ADX declines for XRP at the weekly time frame, we use the model of stochastics and support and resistance. Though while we prefer the daily time frame for short-term price fluctuations, at the weekly time frame, the model of stochastics and support and resistance suggests a downward swing may occur at this point towards support at 0.46, where price finds that support point, while stochastics may enter oversold. The previous upward swing may be complete at the last high, where price found resistance between 0.62 and 0.675, while stochastics fail to enter overbought. On the technical daily chart for XRP, we can see more detail of where price has broken above the symmetrical triangle, ending a session with a bearish engulfing pattern just here and now moving lower. Volume supports downwards movement at this time frame as well, particularly on these recent bearish candlesticks, though a push on some of the bullish candlesticks sees a bit of strength for upwards movement. ADX now declines at the daily time frame, showing no clear trend. ATR is overall flat, though it has increased quite sharply for the short term as price declines with the strong bearish movement, giving an overall bearish outlook for volatility at the daily time frame as well. And as ADX declines for XRP at the daily time frame, the model of stochastics and support and resistance at this time frame suggests the downward swing may be complete. At this last low just here, where price finds for support now resistance at 0.54 and 0.55, an upward swing may occur at this point towards resistance up at 0.62 or potentially up to 0.675, where price finds one of those resistance points, while stochastics may enter overbought. That's all for me with your weekly update for XRP and the Ethereum technicals. As I mentioned previously, if you do want the full picture for the Ethereum analysis, you can sign up for that at pureelliottwave.com using the link in the description below. We have done an update for that today. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a good week.